What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Ralph Productions. As always, I am Chris.
And Ralph,
And today we have our spoiler review for,
Sonic Movie 3.
yes sir, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 dropped today. The third in the trilogy, hence the number 3. We saw the first two in theaters.
Yep.
2020, the
Yep.
beginning of 2020, the only movie we saw that year in theaters.
Yep.
2022, and here we are for Sonic 2. And then here we are December. It was supposed to be in competition today with Avatar 3, but James Cameron got scared. He's like, Sonic the Hedgehog is gonna beat Avatar in the box office, so we're gonna move the movie back a year because I'm scared of the blue blur. And he was right, because this movie is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So leading into this movie, Ralphie, what was something that you were super excited to see from the trailers and all that good stuff?
So yeah, for me though, like I'm really looking for like it's because since they are reintroducing Shadow in the film version.
Shadow, not just Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog, John Wick.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves, Matrix, Neo. Keanu Reeves. Not Keanu was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just go through the premise of this movie, where it left off, some of the things that we loved. I actually have zero gripes. This movie was absolutely amazing. So you're gonna get just a few minutes of me and Rafi just praising this film because we absolutely love it. So we start off where we left off in Sonic 2, much like the first one did. We see Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Tom, and Maddie. They're celebrating Sonic's happy birthday. Basically the day that he came to Earth, which is like his birthday. So how did it feel seeing those characters again for the first time in 2 years on the big screen?
So for me though, it is really great to like see them like again after like 2 years, and absolutely do love the chemistry with the characters and stuff.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, and the actress that plays Tails, Colleen O'Shaughnessy. I think their chemistry is just absolutely off the charts. I'm willing to bet they're not in the same room when they're recording these lines, but it feels like they're standing right next to each other.
Yep.
I think Ben Schwartz is an amazing lead, and I think he is Sonic.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna throw some pictures up when we went to the Speed Cafe earlier this year.
Yep.
That was really dope. They had a Speed Cafe near us, which is a Sonic the Hedgehog cafe. They had chili dogs. They had milkshake. No, they had slushies.
Yep.
I had the Akinda red slushie. You had the Hedgehog.
The blue slushie.
The blue slushie. Really dope. It's not there anymore because they moved from city to city, but it was really cool. But let's get into... Let's take a pause on Sonic, and like you mentioned earlier, Shadow.
Yep.
How did you feel how they handled Shadow, how they handled his backstory, and all that good stuff?
So for me though, absolutely do like what they did with Shadow. Also, fun fact though, the director Jeff Allen also did the CG art direction or directing cutscene in the Shadow game.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
like sort of involvement in the Shadow cutscene.
So the director already has history with Shadow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool. It makes sense because he did a great job with Shadow.
Yeah. And so yeah, like whenever they brought Shadow like into live action form, I do think the design looks really good.
Yes, it looks like it's straight from the video games.
Yeah.
I was scared that we were gonna do a Sonic human-looking version like they did for back in the first one when they were first introducing Shadow.
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna get bullied again and have to fix the design, but obviously they learned their lesson the first time.
Yeah.
And then Keanu, like I mentioned, an absolute legend. So I'm happy to have him be part of this franchise. I did want to talk about the Maria story, but we'll get into that more later because that was a good chunk of the movie, and honestly, my favorite part of the movie. And essentially, Shadow has been in prison for 50 years. He escapes mysteriously, and he ends up in Tokyo.
In Tokyo.
And he's sort of wreaking havoc. Not sort of. He's wreaking havoc on the city. So what's the name of the military people? I forget the name of them. The group that they're called. Gun. There you go. Gun. Thank you, Ralphie. Gun caused Team Sonic to go and fight him in Tokyo. So we got our first big fight sequence. What they showed off in the trailer, What did you think about our 40x seats every time Shadow moved really fast?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, we saw it in 40x.
yeah,
Basically means the seats move. So every time Shadow teleported and things like that, or super speed, he teleports, right?
yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not overstating his powers. The seat jerked, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty dope. What did you think of that fight sequence? Him handling Sonic and them.
But we know the fight sequence is like really, really epic to see on screen.
Yeah. There was also a chase scene
Yep.
between Shadow. You want to show it off, Ralphie?
Yep.
Shadow's motorcycle, badass. Oh, excuse my language. Bad, that dope. And then he faced off against Sonic. But if you notice, he has two right hands. They messed up in the manufacturing.
Yeah.
But um, that the basically what I'm trying to get to is that the action sequences in this movie were absolutely amazing. Um, it felt like you were playing the video game, and
Yep.
it felt like I don't even really watch this show, but it felt like Dragon Ball Z, where you
Yep.
had these two super powerful beings fighting each other at super speed, and they quite literally at one point moved a mountain. That's how amazing those fight scenes were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and the premise of the story is that Robotnik needs to come out of retirement. Jim Carrey. Let's talk about Jim Carrey for a second.
Yeah.
He is a chunky monkey. He has himself a belly, and he is hilarious at the same time.
Yep.
What do you think of Jim Carrey's performance as Dr. Robotnik? His third time taking
Yep.
this role.
So for me though, like in the first movie, okay, it was like some sort of like robot engineer, and then second one, okay, a bit insane, crazy, and the third
Yeah.
one, flat out Robotnik.
Literally, they just took him for the video game.
Yeah.
And fun fact, this is Jim Carrey's first time ever doing a third film for a franchise. So he's done sequels before, Dumb and Dumber 2,
And Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, but this is the first time he's done a third film. So that's how much he cares about this franchise and how much money they gave to him, because he is not a cheap get, and I'm happy that they were able to bring him back for the third one because his story was really hilarious. Um, and let's go ahead and get into the story a little bit more. So we find out Robotnik has a grandpa named Gerald,
Yep.
who is Jim Carrey, and they make this funny joke, like it's like we're almost like we're an actor or the actor playing the same character twice in the movie. They basically break the fourth wall. And Gerald, Robotnik, and Shadow are looking for this key card to activate this powerful weapon. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Maddie, and Tom are going after them to stop them, and you have Gun in the middle of all this chaos. And we go to London, which was a really fun scene.
Yep.
You want to go ahead and get into what happened in London and all the other stuff?
Sonic was like, okay, so what about I could one do this, one do that, and tells that no, Sonic gets you would be vaporized in the laser cut,
Yes.
in the laser shield or something.
It would be horrible because if they didn't do it right, Sonic would die.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're in London to stop Robotnik and them from getting the key card.
Yeah.
Knuckles has his moment where he goes and breaks stuff, which he's been trying to do for the longest. And Robotnik and Gerald and Shadow get the key card, and now they have the keys to use this massive weapon. Let's pause on that and let's get into the Maria backstory. I know, leading up to this movie, you mentioned to me multiple times how excited you were and curious to see if they were going to go dark or to see if they were actually going to tell the story of Maria. And how did you feel that they did, Ralphie?
So for me though, like I was like very surprised though, like about the storyline that they pulled out,
Yeah.
and and this scene like there was a montage with Maria and Shadow,
Yes.
and stuff, and like of course back when I thinking, man, it's not gonna end well.
Yeah. We saw Shadow
Yeah.
really have a best friend in Maria 50 years ago, so which was the mid 70s. And it was just he had a friend, he had a sister, he had a sibling, he had everything, to take care of him and to make him feel like he was home. because he crash landed in a meteorite here on Earth. And stuff goes sideways. I will go ahead and get into what happens to Maria. You can go ahead
Okay,
and say
so
that.
okay, so after some fail like
Test.
testing,
Hmm.
and of course the guy like, oh, okay, we need to shut this down. And first we need to capture like Shadow though, and Gerald, Maria, and Shadow were wanting like try to escape stuff,
Yeah.
and one the gun just blew some sort of high energy that caused major explosion.
Yes. They're basically gun killed Maria
Yeah,
because they wanted to stop Shadow and Gerald from escaping. And then they arrested Gerald and Shadow, and they were in prison or in the casing for 50 years. So that's why Shadow and that's why Gerald has this hate towards Gunn, and he's gonna take it out on Earth. And Shadow was blinded by vengeance because he wants people to feel the pain that he felt when they took Maria from him. And that leads us to the end. Uh, we see that Tom actually ends up in the hospital because Shadow punches him in the chest.
yeah, and oh yeah, that was a disguise scene.
There was a disguise scene where Tom and Maddie were using like this disguise to make themselves look different.
Yeah,
And they took on the personas of Rachel and Randall, which is Maddie's sister
sisters.
and her husband. And that scene was really funny
Yeah,
to see the actress Natasha Rothwell, to see her really go off,
yeah.
and Shamir Moore. I thought he was hilarious as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and also doing the face recognition and take us up to cut to the when he disguised as director Rockwell,
Yeah,
and she said, okay, how do I let and Tom like first thing,
Tom was like, "You look great." He
yeah,
punched him in the stomach. That was funny as well.
yeah.
But let's get into the emeralds.
So the Chaos Emerald,
The chaos emerald. No, the emeralds, right?
yeah,
The green one.
yeah, and the Master Emerald.
The master emerald. There you go.
So there was a line when I was noticing, yeah, I kept the Master Emerald very safe, even guarded, and whoever tried to steal it would be an enemy to me.
And he left the emeralds with Wade.
Wade,
And Wade was playing hockey, rooftop hockey with it. Sonic took it from him. And that's the only scene we have with Wade.
yeah,
That kind of bummed me out because I really like Wade. As you know, even though what I said earlier about the Knuckles show, I like Wade as a character, and I like him even more because of the show. That's all we got of him. But it's okay. He's not the main character in this story. It's cool. Um, and let's just get into that fight scene between Shadow and Sonic.
yeah.
Go ahead and get into that, Ron.
So the scenes with Shadow and Sonic is very badass on screen,
Yeah.
and the seats though that we chose like were moving like
Yes, every time they punch each other into a mountain, our seats is like, I got like whiplash, man. The back of my head hit the seat.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It felt like I mentioned earlier, I've never watched the show, but it felt like Dragon Ball Z.
yeah. It does kind of feel like it like I haven't seen the series either, but
Yeah.
I kind of get what people are saying.
I've seen fight scenes on YouTube and stuff of Dragon Ball Z, and
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. It felt amazing. And then basically, Sonic defeats Shadow, and Sonic is about to kill Shadow because that's how much anger he has in him because of what Shadow did to Tom. And then with Sonic, hey Sonic, right?
Yeah.
Sonic starts to realize that that's not who he is, and he tells Shadow that's not who he is either. And basically, Shadow and Sonic team up to go defeat the Robotniks. While all this is happening, Ivo starts to realize that his grandfather is going to destroy the whole Earth, and then that does not sit well with him. While all this is happening at the same time, Agent Stone, he misses his boss Ivo. Agent Stone was really hilarious in this movie as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him props. And then that leads us to the final act of this movie. You have Sonic and Shadow go and stop Gerald from destroying Earth with this massive, ultra beam, essentially. What did you think about the action scene and the music and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
So the action scene like again it's really good, and also the song though they literally play Live and Learn,
Live and learn from which game?
Sonic Adventure 2.
Sonic Adventures 2. That song, amazing.
Yeah,
Really good.
yeah. Also like doing the action sequence in space, like we see Shadow and Sonic as Super Sonic and Super
Super
Shadow.
Sonic and Super Shadow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, doing the scene whenever they were destroying all the robots. So back in my head was thinking the cutscene opening in Sonic Unleashed.
Which I never played.
I have played bits of it.
I asked Santa for it when it came out, like when in 2007.
Yeah,
I asked him, I was 9 years old. I sat on his lap. My chunky monkey. I was a fat kid. Well, I'm still fat. I was a fat kid, and I think that's why he didn't get it from me, because I think I hurt his knee. He was like, I was like, can I get Sonic Unleashed? He's like, get off of me, okay. And I never got it, so I think that was the reason why.
Yeah.
But back to the movie.
Yeah, I might think to get the game soon.
Yeah, you can get it so you can play it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically defeat. What does Ivo do to his grandpa?
So before we talk about that, there was a scene of Ivo versus Joe Robotnik and this fight sequence, and even Robotnik saying, I hate to watch the Green Lantern film.
So Gerald pulls out a massive fist, sort of looks like a Green Lantern fist, and then Jim Carrey Ivo says, last time I saw that was whenever I watched Green Lantern 2011. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Ivo kills Gerald by flicking him into the Ultra Beam, and he just
I was laughing so hard in that scene, and I was like, wow, it's kind of like whenever flow into the electricity trap.
What is it called? Fly. I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. He just like. You didn't see an explosion. You didn't see. Of course, they were going to show blood or guts because it's a kids' film. But it's like you just saw Gerald go into the thing, and then half a frame later, he was gone. he just like disintegrated instantly. Yeah. It was hilarious. But they stopped the beam from hitting Earth. But the beam actually hits the moon. They cut the moon in half, almost in half. That was funny. Shadow dies. Spoilers. And Tom lives, and they save Earth.
Yep.
We have a happy ending. I will say the ending was fast. They saved the day, and then it was like, all right, peace. We'll see y'all next time. Like, we're not gonna. I want to know. Okay, fine. That's fine, guys. And that's pretty much our movie. So before we get into the credits, the post-credit and the mid-credit, what was your overall feelings of this movie, Ralph? Overall feelings.
So for me though, I absolutely enjoyed the film, and of course there's some Easter egg I have noticed. And
get into some of the Easter eggs.
So in the helicopter scene, whenever we see Sonic tells Knuckles to jump out, and Sonic said, "No further movies, I'm out of here." That's exactly what he said in Sonic Adventure 2.
That's funny. I laughed at that. That was actually that was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and of course, live and learn.
Live and learn the song, yeah.
And as I mentioned though, during the fight sequence in space, Batman thinking the opening cutscene for Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah.
And there's one part whenever Knuckles said, I kept the Master Number safely, he got it, and whoever tried to steal it though would be an enemy to me. And basically, usually there's this character called Rouge, the bad always tries to steal.
Oh yes, I've seen him.
Yeah. Master from Knuckles.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So those are some of the Easter eggs, and I'm sure there's many more.
Yeah.
We have to rewatch this. We'll go rewatch it in theaters soon. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the mid credit, and then we'll get into that post credit. We see Sonic, Knuckles, and we don't see Knuckles or Tails in this scene, but basically they have a race at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie, and we see Sonic. He ran into New York State. He's like, "Oh, I'm in a different state. Okay, how do I get back home?" He fights
Metal Sonic. Basically,
like I've seen, but it's basically Iron Man.
Yeah, some sort of like Robo Terminator type.
Robo Tournament, and he fought he was gonna fight like 20 of them until who popped up and saved him?
Amy Rose.
Show them Amy Rose.
So yeah, I don't have the regular one, but I do have the pirate one,
which is really cool. You got that at GameStop.
Yeah,
I remember we got that a few months ago. Really cool figure.
So yeah, I was surprised we got Amy Rose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking about Amy Rose though, I did remember to tell you about a while ago about the
shirts.
Yeah, the shirts.
Okay, so in Sonic 1, Tinka Sumpter is wearing a yellow shirt, and who pops up at the end?
Tails.
Okay. At the beginning of Sonic 2, she's wearing.
In the third act in Sonic 2.
Oh, in the third act, she's wearing a
red shirt and a black jacket.
And that is
Shadow.
Oh, Knuckles. Remember, what about Knuckles?
No, Shadow appeared in the post-credit scene.
Oh, he did. Yes,
yeah.
He did. And then, so every time she wears a different color shirt, the character pops up. At the beginning of this movie, she was wearing a pink shirt. And that is Amy Rose's colors, of course. So what did you think about seeing her? She didn't say any lines because they haven't casted the voice yet.
Yep.
But what did you think about seeing her?
So I was like, okay, finally we getting another character.
Yes, in this world of Sonic,
Yep.
which is amazing.
And trust me though, there's a whole lot of characters for them to introduce. Like of course,
Yeah.
There's Silver, Blaze. I forgot those three. The alligator, the BN.
There's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of characters.
You know what I think they might do? Probably not for Sonic 4, but if they do a part 5, or maybe they do this at Sonic 4, where they go to his world and they have fights over there in action sequence.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Because there's so much story. There's so much. They haven't even, besides the beginning stuff in Sonic 1, they haven't even scratched the surface of like his lore. Besides like Earth stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Shadow stuff. Speaking of Shadow, at the post-credit scene, we see that he
survived.
He survives the blast. Thank goodness. We thought Keanu died in the movie, but he didn't. So we're gonna see him in Sonic 4. We might get a Shadow movie spinoff, which I think he definitely can do. No, not that. It's something that I think they would definitely do is do a Sonic Shadow spinoff. But that's our spoiler review for this movie. Overall thoughts, Rafi, before we give our final ratings?
Absolutely enjoy this movie. Gonna give this a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give this movie a 10 out of 10. I think it's my favorite of the three. I think it has the best action, the best jokes. I think Jim Carrey is at his best in this movie. I think the voice acting from all the actors were absolutely amazing. And I think Keanu Reeves was just so killer. So, 10 out of 10, guys. Comment down below, what did you think of this movie? And if you haven't seen it, why are you watching this? This is a spoiler review, guys. But yeah, as always, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Chris.
And wow.
Catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.